students, this is Neha Sharma, your English language teacher. Today, in this video, we are going to start chapter number 3, Deep Water, of your textbook Flamingo. Deep Water is written by William O. Douglas. Let's know about author. William Orville Douglas was born in 1898 and died in 1980. He was born in USA. He was a leading advocate of individual rights. He was a judge at Supreme Court of USA and retired in 1975. The chapter Deep Water is an autobiography of William Douglas. The name of the autobiography of William Douglas was Of Men and Mountains. Let's know in brief about the story. In this story, he tells about his fear of water and how he conquered it by determination and his willpower. As a child, when he was of 3 and 4 years old, he would go to the beach in California with his father. He would get scared by a might of huge waves which swept over him, and it instilled a fear in his subconscious mind. A few years later, in his eagerness to learn swimming, he joined a swimming pool where an incident further increased his terror. He was pushed into the pool by another boy and experienced death closely. Many years after that incident, he stayed away from water, but the desire to go to fishing and swimming in nature was strong enough to motivate him to overcome his fear. He learned swimming with the help of an instructor who ensured that William knew swimming enough to be able to swim in huge lakes and waterfalls also. Still, when he would swim, the fear from his childhood experiences embedded in the subconscious mind would grip him over and over again, and he wanted to conquer that fear. He faced it sarcastically, thinking that now, as he knew how to swim, what harm could it do to him? He challenged his fear in the face of it, and finally it would vanish. It was a baseless fear instilled in his subconscious mind. This experience was valuable for him. He had experienced terror and death. He overcame it and finally conquered it. William realized that death is a peaceful, and it is the fear of death that is terrorizing. He will too live life grew intensely, and he had overcome his fear and started living fearlessly. So, in the starting of the story, the author tells us, in the first part of the story, author tells us how he got aversion to water. So he says that he had always disliked water and recounts the older experience when he was 3 or 4 years old. He went to the beach in California with his father. They stood as a wave leapt towards them, and William stuck to his father to save himself. But the strong wave threw him down and he was covered in water. He was scared as he could not breathe. His father laughed and he tried to make him feel comfortable. But the little child was scared when he realized that the waves were so powerful. Next, he tells the misadventure which happened with him in YMCA swimming pool. So, the writer tells that because he got the aversion to water since he was 3 to 4 years old, and he went with his father at the beach of California. And when he became 10 or 11 years old, he decided that he will learn swimming once again. He had joined YMCA swimming pool to learn swimming. He did not go to Yakima River to swim as it was considered dangerous. This shows that he had a period fear of water. William tells that his mother would not allow him to go to Yakima River because she heard a lot of accidents in that river. So she allowed her to join YMCA pool because that was the safest. The shallow area of the pool was only 2 to 3 feet deep, while the deep area was 9 feet in depth. The slope from the shallow area to deep area was not steep. He also got a pair of water wings to prevent drowning. He did not like to wear the swimming costume, which exposed his thin legs, but he was keen to swim. He gave all his self-respect and vowed it. William further tells that when he joined YMCA pool and he started, the fear of the water resurfaced in his mind. He gathered confidence by watching other boys swim and tried to copy them. He had started gaining confidence when the incident happened. He had a narrow escape from the death. William Douglas tells about the impact of YMCA event. So, as I told you, he was scattered with the incident which happened in the YMCA pool because he was not sent by his mother to practice in Yakima River. On one fine day, one bully, when he was learning swimming, so one bully decides to pull a dangerous prank with him. He pushes him in the end of the pool and which frightens the author. He reaches 9 feet into the water and starts struggling desperately to hold onto something. Moreover, he yells for help, but he starts feeling paralyzed, and only his heart was moving now. Thus he gives up and readies himself to die, but wakes up at the side of the pool. However, the terror he experienced while drowning never goes away. It continues to haunt him for many years and even spoiled his future expedition concerning canoeing, swimming, fishing and more. He even visits marine lakes, Columbia, New Hampshire and more, but he was not able to enjoy all these canoeing and fishing over there. Thus he decides to overcome this fear by hook or by crook. He enrolls himself in a swimming class and tries to learn from the instructor. The instructor teaches him many tips and tricks for swimming. He begins with the inhaling and exhaling part, then he practices it for many weeks. Further, William Douglas tells us that he engaged an instructor to learn and he practiced for 5 days a week for an hour. The instructor put a belt around him and that belt was attached to a pulley. He went back and forth many times and somehow he learned to swim somehow within 3 months. Instructor taught him to put his nose underwater and exhale, and then the instructor told him how to kick the water with his legs. Finally, he combines all this with the final move of swimming. Although the author knows how to swim, he is still terrified of water. Thus, in order to get rid of fear, he decides to confront it. He mocks it by thinking, what can it really do? Consequently, he plunges into water and To his surprise, his fear goes away. He faced it many places and at last manages to conquer it. William swam like this till the month of July, but he was not satisfied. He wanted to be sure that all of the fear had left him. So he went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, dived into it for Trigger's Island, and swam for 2 miles. Up to Stampact Island, he swims different styles: crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. The terror returned only once when he was in the middle of the lake. When he put his head under water, he saw water all around and fear returned. This time, William laughed at the terror and said to it that it could not harm him. He saw that the terror vanished and he resumed swimming. William still had some doubt about the fear, so he hurried towards the western direction. He went to the Titan, reached Concord Meadows, waked up the Conard Creek trail to the glaciers. He camped at the meadow by the warm lake. The next morning, he wore the swimming costume and dived into the lake. He swam across it to the other end and returned, just like famous American Joe Corcoran used to do. William shouted with joy as he had overcome his fear. His voice resounded as the mountain peak named Gilbert Peak rebutted it. He had overcome the fear. The experience had a great importance in William's life. He realized that death was peaceful and only the fear of death was fearful. He recollects the words of one of the presidents of America, Roosevelt. Roosevelt had said that all we have to fear is fear itself. As William had experienced death and the fear of death, his desire to live grew immensely. He felt released from fear and was free to walk up and trails and climbs up the mountains fearlessly. To sum up Deepwater, we learned that if we are determined enough and have the courage, we can overcome any fear that comes our way without letting the fear overpower us. Thanks. Have a nice day.